Tuesday morning. Lots of injuries to talk about with the Jets and Giants that could, of course, affect the rest of their seasons as they are hanging on by a thread right now, being relevant. The Jets in a little bit better of a position, of course, than the Giants are. And you got some really bad news with Elijah Vera Tucker, who has been a great offensive lineman for the New York Jets. He's played all over the place, drafted him as a guard, he's been a tackle, but he's also been hurt. And when he's healthy, he's great, but he has missed a ton of time, so that was bad news yesterday as you find out he's out for the year with an Achilles injury. Daniel Jones, they're optimistic about his neck, but he has had neck issues in the past, and they are running into a Buffalo Bills team that's going to be pissed off at Orchard Park. They're a 2-touchdown underdog. Squash spot potential there. And I got to tell you, Boomer, I am absolutely obsessed with Mark Davis. I cannot get enough of Mark Davis. Give me all the Mark Davis. Yesterday and watching him last night and all the stuff that was going on with him made me laugh. And also, we got a big announcement in 2 hours. Big, huge Boomer and Gio announcement 2 hours from now. Good morning, Boomer. How are you?
Yeah, good morning, G. I'm not all that interested in Mark Davis. I think they show him way too much. It's
Come on.
Whoa. Brutal. I mean, it's got to be like one of the worst looks for an NFL owner there ever has been.
Hold the phone.
Yes.
How could you not be interested in this guy? Now, it is a terrible look.
It's a goofball.
But that's what's great about it. He shows up there with a Cirque du Soleil woman half his age.
Yes.
Sitting next to him on Monday Night Football, and then he screams audibly, and you could read his lips, "What an a-hole," in the second quarter before halftime. I'm thinking he's talking about his coach, and there was videos of him prior in the airport at Vegas playing slots in the airport. This guy's unbelievable.
He's about as eccentric as they come.
Right, and he gets his hair cut at the Lemon Tree. And he has all of his lunches at P.F. Chang's. This guy, I can't get enough of him.
Yeah, I can't.
How can you not be interested in this guy?
You know why? Because I'm interested in a football game. I'm not interested in it. Like,
yeah, Mr. Taylor Swift. You couldn't go
different.
5 seconds without saying Taylor Swift.
That is totally different.
Oh, is it?
Totally different. And don't get mad at me because I don't feel the same way about
I love Mark Davis
that you do. Man.
Oh, he's such a weirdo. It's the greatest thing
he
in
is
football.
100% a weirdo. And I told you, eccentric. Very eccentric.
Did you see his girlfriend he showed up with?
Yes.
Cirque du Soleil. Did you check out her Instagram or anything? She can take her leg and bend it behind her head just like nothing. Just like, Mark Davis is like, give me her. I want her.
Was that like the first thing you did is like when you saw them together is you went right to her Instagram page?
Well, people like mystery woman.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, someone's going to figure this out, right? And then they did, and I saw her name, and then, of course, bunch of pictures. That's what everybody else does.
Okay.
Come on.
I didn't know everybody else does that.
Oh, of course they do. Come on. Are you kidding me?
I'm more interested like in Jordan Love throwing 3 interceptions.
Oh, yeah, sure,
I'm sorry.
Right.
I mean, that's where I am.
Yeah, you spent how much time talking about Taylor Swift and the box and this and that, and all of a sudden you're more interested in Jordan Love.
Hey, time out.
That game sucked last night between two terrible teams.
Another terrible game, but at least it was close.
Right.
And there was some compelling aspects to it. And, Jordan Love is the replacement for Aaron Rodgers, and Jordan Love got off to a good start this season and now has regressed the last couple of weeks, and they got themselves a problem on their hands right now. So that's good news for you, maybe in the future. I don't know, but I would just say this in regards to Taylor Swift and everything else. I was a little tongue in cheek. I bought into it. She was coming here. She lives right down a block from us here. I mean, so I was buying into all of that from that standpoint. Yes, it was somewhat entertaining. But, like Mark Davis is so goofy. I actually cringe when I see him.
Oh, it's the greatest, though. But cringe is fun. Like with Al this morning, he said he can't miss, and I totally agree, he cannot miss the Adoree Jackson interview with BT and Sal today because of the cringe factor. Cringe is fun, man.
It's train wreck radio.
Like, basically. Cringe in a lot of situations is fun. And Mark Davis, I mean, I just, the fact that man exists is amazing to me.
Yes.
And like he decides.
Well, that man wouldn't exist if it weren't for his dad.
But yes, I know, but it's the great, I mean, his hair is unbelievable. And the fact that he debuts his new Cirque du Soleil girlfriend on Monday Night Football is just the best. And then he's calling, I'm assuming he's calling his coach an a-hole up there. It's just the best. I mean, I don't know. Of all the entertaining things that the NFL has, I could make a case that the weirdest thing that the NFL has produced is Mark Davis. He is the weirdest thing going. And the fact that he's out in Vegas now, too, makes it even better.
Right, exactly.
Think about him during Super Bowl week. He's going to be everywhere in all his glory, even though his team's not going to be there. But he's hosting the Super Bowl. He's going to be bouncing around.
Maybe we can go to P.F. Chang's with him.
Yeah, I mean, that's where he goes, apparently, every single lunch.
Book Mark Davis for the show. You got to book Mark Davis for the show.
I bet you he won't.
At the at the P.F. Chang's. With his
at the Wynn where we're going to be.
Oh, okay.
And get him there, at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, he'll probably be coming out of P.F. Chang's or something at 3 o'clock in the morning, or the slots over there at the airport.
How are you an NFL owner playing slots in the airport? First of all, you shouldn't even be at the airport. You should be flying privately at some other FBO somewhere. You should be in the Las Vegas airport playing slots.
I will say this in support of Mark Davis.
Oh, I love him.
Right, here it is. He's who he is.
Hell yeah.
And he doesn't give a rat's ass what you, me, or anybody else thinks.
Exactly. Then I'm jealous of that. I mean, for him to go through his life with that haircut just shows you he does not give a crap. He also doesn't have people around him that are telling him what's going on. And like this is not a good thing with the bangs. This is not a good thing.
Then I wonder, when you're a coach there, John Gruden, now Josh McDaniels. I'm like, how do you?
Looks like he's wearing somebody else's face.
Like, how do you?
You know what I'm saying?
How do you deal with this guy?
I don't know, but that place is just a mess. It's a mess. I mean, Josh McDaniels, and I understand that he ends up lucking out yesterday with the bad decision. Should have gone for it, kicked the field goal, whatever. But with Josh McDaniels, Mark Davis, and Las Vegas, I mean. It is that right there, some stuff, man.
There's a lot of stuff there, yes.
As opposed to, what we got here right now, which even though, the Raiders aren't any good, but, I mean, at least they're interesting.
Well, and the one thing about him is that he's trying to give Tom Brady a piece of the team, but it doesn't look like the finance committee of the NFL ownership group is going to allow that to go through because of the discount that Mark Davis is trying to give Tom Brady, like 70% off what the valuation is.
Well, let me ask you something about, and this is getting off track with Tom Brady, but seriously, if he couldn't come back and play because he was a part owner of a team, how is he going to be allowed, if this goes through, which it isn't right now, but if this goes through, how is he going to be able to be a national broadcaster for games if he's a part owner of a team?
Who says he even wants to do that? I'm not sure if he even wants to do
Fox,
that.
Because they signed him to a deal and sent out a press release.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like he's anywhere close to doing that. I mean, he's hanging out on his boat right now, flexing his his pecs and everything.
Flexing his pecs.
I think he probably is enjoying life right now. I don't necessarily know that he is going to want to ever go in that booth. I don't know. Maybe he will.
A lot of money, man.
I know.
A lot of money.
But yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, but I mean, you say he doesn't want to do it.
I mean, I would go in the booth for him if he'd like. But, I mean, the fact is that it seems like his life is going pretty well right now.
Yeah. He's got a new...
Isn't he involved with the Glazer family and their soccer team?
Yes, he is. He also is dating another supermodel, not a Cirque du Soleil performer, but another supermodel.
Right.
His kids are doing their thing.
He's
happy.
Also something for Delta Airlines.
That's right. That's right. He is some sort of ambassador for them. So yeah, things are going well. But yeah, that was the only thing that was interesting to me last night about that football game. These are two bad teams going nowhere. Was Mark Davis on the television? Do you think he was saying what an a-hole? Had to be to Josh McDaniels.
It was either to Josh McDaniels or to his quarterback. I wasn't sure. I'm not sure. I don't necessarily know that he would do that to a player. I can see him doing it to the coach.
Right.
Because he is, he obviously he hired the coach. He pays the coach. And I would think that sometimes ownership can get a little bit rambunctious when it comes to coaching decisions.
Yeah, so it's just to give people, if they weren't watching the game, 2:32 to play in the second quarter. And they settled for a 26-yard field goal as their drive stalled at the 8th. And at that point, when they trotted out the field goal unit, they go up to Mark Davis and Cirque du Soleil flexible woman, and he goes, "What an a-hole." It has to be to Josh McDaniels.
You feel like it is, unless somebody screwed up something on the scoreboard or the big screen or anything.
Yeah, but I mean, he's staring right down at the field.
By the way, did you see the cutaways of the Sphere?
Yes, unbelievable.
That was ridiculous, right?
There's a video that I don't know if it's real or not, where the Sphere is like someone's teeing off on a golf course, and the Sphere is right in the background with eyes watching the golfer and then watching the ball go down. Have you seen this?
Yes.
I don't know if it's real or not.
I would
Photoshopped.
imagine it is real. I would imagine it is real because that sphere has so many possibilities. Like I told you, the greatest thing about that sphere is that not only does it make money when the doors are open and U2 is inside of it, but it also is making money when the doors are closed and they're advertising on the outside of it. I don't know how much money ESPN paid to be on that sphere last night.
Oh, well, I told you. We went over the numbers.
But the weird thing is, it could have been a quid pro quo. It could have been, all right, we'll put your logo up there, but you got to show us on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, one of those things.
That kind of thing could have been one of those things.
Yeah, probably. Hey, Stephen Waldron, I want to check in you with early this morning, CBS Sports. Stephen, are you there? Do you have the what an a-hole clip from Mark Davis? Do you have that by any chance? Okay, good. Oh, you gotta blur out the a-hole thing?
Why do you have to blur out the a-hole thing?
I mean, seriously, what's the big deal?
I mean, ESPN ran it.
Yeah, right, exactly. It was on ESPN. Safe. What's going to happen?
Aren't we on cable? Don't we have like a different set of rules? This is why we have weekday Boomer and we have weekend Boomer, right, Al?
I mean, we're not hearing the word. You know, he's just mouthing it. It already went over national TV. Like, just put it out there, man. Like, who cares? But, like, it kind of ruins it if it's blurred out.
Yeah, I mean, you got to see it.
There's no point in even seeing it, you know?
I understand that, and I figure that we have a different set of rules and things that we have to follow here.
Yeah, yes. Practices, what do they call it? Standards and practices.
Yeah, S's and P's.
Yeah, S's and P's. And what's that other thing? The T's and C's.
See, you got T's and C's.
T's and C's and S's and P's.
Right.
Yeah, well, anyway, he said what an a-hole, and he's talking about Josh McDaniels, and everybody seems to dislike that guy. It's amazing.
Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, except Bill Belichick and Patriots quarterbacks. Everywhere else he goes, they hate his guts.
Well, they have a lot of success when he's under the guise of Bill Belichick and Patriot quarterbacks. They seem to do well.
Well, that Broncos thing was a mess, and then he ends up flaking on the Colts, and then they hate his guts. And now he's out there in Vegas with the Raiders, and the owner's calling him an a-hole.
Well, it just goes to show you it's not all that easy to become a head coach in the NFL and then kind of keep things together. This is all you have to do is ask Brian Daboll. He'll tell you.
I know.
I mean, and, these are jobs that everybody wants. That you want to be the man in charge. You want to be able to, have your imprint all over the organization. And then when things start to go south, especially like in this market, this is where things can get really dicey for the coach because there's all this rumor and innuendo that's around the team, and this guy said that, and this guy meant this, and the fans are disgusted. The media is looking for the articles that are going to get the coach in trouble or create some sort of division between the coach and the players or the coach and the owner, that kind of thing.
Well, I got to say that really nothing like that has come out of the Giants to this point. I mean, and we've seen a lot of that with the Jets last year, some of the social media stuff and everything else, but we have not seen any of that with the Giants.
Yeah, the Zach Wilson stuff last year.
Well, yeah, of course, but that was a big deal. The Mike White shirts and the social media likings of posts that were slamming Zach Wilson. We haven't seen any of that with the Giants yet, but they are slowly watching the wheels come off, and at 1-4, staring at a Buffalo Bills team that is hosting them as a 14-point underdog. You get blown out again, man. I mean, I don't even know if the fans will even be angry. I mean, I think if you get blown out again in this game, it might be like apathy. It'd be like, okay, here we go. Another crap season. Last year didn't mean anything, and now here we are.
Well, everybody will be looking at Tankathon on a weekly basis.
Yep.
That's basically what it's going to come down to. And
but they're not going to be that bad, are they?
I hope not. I mean, their schedule does lighten up a little bit. Like you see these two teams that played last night. The Giants, you would think, could hang with those two teams.
Yeah, of course.
But
that's not saying much.
Unless the Raiders put Max Crosby at left defensive end, and he's got to go against Evan Neal.
Oh, God.
Like, you got to block that guy. That's the guy you block. Don't worry about anything else. Just block that guy.
Yeah, but I mean, hanging with the Raiders or the Packers isn't really what we were expecting out of the Giants.
I know that, but I'm just saying there is a collection of teams that I think the Giants could beat. I think there's probably about 10 teams they would not have a chance against. And then the rest of the league, I don't know if it's 50-50 or 60-40, whether or not they would have a chance. But, they're mired in that bottom third of the league.
Yeah, I mean, and the worst part about it is they've barely looked like a good football team.
Especially in the first half. The first half has just been like they come out, they're so flat. I mean, I thought last week they actually started pretty good. It looked like there was energy. It looked like they were running the ball tough. And then all of a sudden that game got away from them. And even despite the 3 turnovers, they ended up losing and scoring 1 touchdown?
Yeah.
Scoring 1 offensive touchdown.
That is correct.
I mean, when you have 3 turnovers in a game and you're +3, and one of those turnovers goes for a touchdown, according to most analytics, they'll tell you have almost like a 90% chance of winning the game.
And not only did they lose, they didn't even cover the 11.5-point spread.
Which goes to show you, I mean, it's unfortunate, but those kinds of numbers and those kinds of situations kind of shows you how bad they are and where they are in the pecking order of the league. And I would say right now, given all the stuff that's gone on here, out of 32 teams, they are the worst team in the league. I mean, the numbers speak volumes. I mean, they tell you everything that you need to know. And none of us here at the radio station, and I'm sure none of their fans, thought that they were going to be where they are right now.
What about Carolina?
Well, Carolina's actually been in games.
Yeah.
I mean, last week they didn't really have much of a chance to get the lines, but they have been in games. Andy Dalton, threw, 58 passes, I think, against Seattle a few weeks ago. They're trying to break in Bryce Young. They do have they're missing major pieces. They traded DJ Moore away to be able to get Bryce Young. They don't really have any stature at wide receiver. So, I mean, that's a team that's in a total rebuild. They're
I know, which is kind of furthering your point that we're comparing them to a team that didn't even expect to win this year. If Carolina hosted the Giants this week, you think they'd be a favorite over them?
I think the Giants would be the favorite.
By like 2.5 or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Just pathetic.
But but the numbers tell you all you need to know.
Oh, yeah, about how bad they're doing.
Look, I don't want to hammer this thing home, but I'm just telling you that I felt last week they were like the 32nd ranked team in the league. I think this week it's the same type of thing. But the good news, if there is a silver lining, finally the defense got some turnovers. That's the good news.
All right, Boomer and Gio just getting started on this Tuesday morning on the Fan and CBS Sports Network.